This meeting is being recorded.
Hey guys, welcome to Real Perspectives. I am LeTonya Mario. We have a absolutely fabulous show for you guys tonight. Mario and I are going to be talking about how to spot a HoboSexual. Now, I have to give you guys a little bit of some background, because it wasn't until recently that I realized that this entire phenomenon actually had some type of name, right? I mean, people call it a bunch of different things, but I had never heard of the term HoboSexual. So I saw this on social media and I put it in some groups that I'm in, and people started educating me about it. And I said, okay, we got to do a show about this, because there are so many things related to HoboSexual outside of the relationship dynamic. So before we get to those though, I gotta let Mario look. Y'all know Mario is our research king, right? He is the man with the plan and the man with the facts. So Mario, I'm gonna pitch it to you to talk a little bit more about HoboSexual and some statistics that we found, because this gonna bless some people.
I believe that, fam. We're glad to be back here again, and I'm telling you, get ready for a real serious ride. All right. So we saw these articles that were talking about it, because when LeTonya told me about it, I said, well, I don't even know what that is either, and I kept thinking that she was saying homosexual. She said, no, Mario, HoboSexual. I said, what is that? She sent me this article. I want to read this to you. The term HoboSexual was coined by writer Nikita Nietzsche, and she describes a HoboSexual as a person who dates you with the sole interest of having a place to stay, not a genuine romantic interest. These people are serial daters, and they jump from home to home just as quickly as they jump from relationship to relationship. This person will eat all your food, borrow your money, have you always foot the bill, be emotionally manipulative, all while hanging out on your oh so comfy couch. Now, see, I already know that some of you all have been involved with some HoboSexuals. This is so common, What are you thinking, Tanya? I mean, really, for real, like, wow. Let me say this first. Let me say this. Do you know that normally the family and the friends recognize him before the person who's actually being victimized realizes it? That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and realistically, it's like that with all of our relationship red flags. We always talk about, we've done several shows like this, right, that are relationship red flags and things that people need to know and understand while they are working through their relationship issues. But here's my perspective on the HoboSexual. I think that the biggest negative to the HoboSexual is the fact that there's not a genuine interest. So that level of dishonesty really, I believe, is where the betrayal comes in. So, your girl, your sister, your mama, they're like, oh, that dude just using you, honey, because he wants a place to stay, or he just needs something to eat, or Lord, where did you find him? All of those things tend to be indications that that's what they believe. And so when you think about that, I believe that a lot of this comes down to betrayal. But here's the thing. Some people don't see it like that. I mean, they like, look, you got to deal with, the hierarchy of needs, right? Yeah. Food, shelter, water. Like that's the basic human need. And so some people say, look, these guys are just fulfilling their basic human need. And so as a woman, for example, if the woman is the person being victimized, then that person needs to be up on their game, and they need to put their foot down and say, this is what it's going to be. If you're going to be living here, then this is what you're going to have to do.
And watch this. This is so funny, too, because this is the second part of it. It says, if and when you get frustrated with the emotional and financial abuse, this person finds themselves a similar setup with a new partner, because they're serial. So they can always find someone who's open for that. And so I thought about it after we, just kind of thinking about what we were going to talk about today. I thought about the fact that some people weigh stuff out in the balance. Because you think about it now, is that they're there, you get companionship for the lonely person. They get sex, perhaps, you know what I'm saying? Because he's going to sex them down to keep that flow going. And so what they do is they weigh out the good and the bad. So if I'm getting my sexual needs fulfilled, my companionship needs fulfilled, then maybe that's the cost of it. Maybe that's the cost of it. I have literally talked to people for many, many, many years that felt like, yo, you know what? It's a win-win because I get the companionship that I desire. I get some sex and, you know, he gets some food. He's there when I get home. He ain't got no car, so he gonna be at home. You know what I mean? So when I get there, or he takes me to work, keeps the car, comes back and pick me up. But I do know he's coming back. So I get what I want out of the deal too. That's hard for some people to understand, but that's the arrangement. And, you know, we've talked about several relationship types that are financially centered, including marriages, you know? So,
yeah.
hey.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I think that makes the HoboSexual setup different from what you describe, see, what you describe is a mutual understanding. Okay, this isn't someone that believes that there's a future with this person or that this person really cares about them. My thought process as I read about the psychology of the HoboSexual is that there's a ruse involved. Mm-hmm. It's not that situation where it's like, look, I ain't got no job or no money. And the person says, hey, I got a job, I got money, I got the house. I just need you for sex or whatever those things are. So if they're saying, hey, I just need you for sex and you guys have this great relationship, you know, you have agreed to those terms. I don't necessarily think, I guess, technically that would not be a HoboSexual relationship because the whole psychology and methodology with the HoboSexual is really about the rules. Oh, I love you. I want to be with you. We're going to be together forever. And so therefore, because we're going to be together forever, let's just do this when the whole time their real motives is just to, again, meet the minimum need: food, shelter, water. We can't hear you, Mario.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I'm sorry. See, I wonder though sometimes on the flip of that, I wonder, do people recognize it though? Are they deceived at that point? Because like right now, when we think about it, like who doesn't realize by now that that's not a setup? But this dude is like only coming around. He's not working. He's only staying here on you. Like, and you know that that's the only reason why, because he ain't got nowhere else to go. Like for me, this is just my thought though. Like at what point did you not see this? Like how much deception is really involved in a person who does not have their own place or at least living with somebody, and he only comes to you. He has no contribution, you know, and let's just put this here too. It's not just men on women, though. You know, it's not that, because there's another article that talks about men being the recipients of the same thing, you know. But the problem with that is, and we'll get into it a little bit later, is that it's almost customary. We talked a little bit about customs last week. That is almost looked at as that's what a dude is supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to take care of somebody, you know, help them get on their feet, because that's what you do. That's a man thing. But then back to the reverse side of it, I just wonder, Tanya, like, at what point did you not see that even your mom and them told you early on growing up, you don't let no man lay up on you. You know, you don't need a man that can't do nothing for you. But then you let this dude come. And I think that that's where the conversation needs to turn with a lot of people. Like, before we say she's victimized, let's ask her, did she know this? Didn't she see this? And what she thought the benefit was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to kind of speak to what you're saying about, did the person's mother teach them this, or grandma, you know, whoever that influential woman was in their life. Part of the problem is that sometimes they see this example, right? If you're telling your son or daughter, don't let someone do this, then they see that that's what you're doing. They see that that's your lifestyle. You can say that all day long, but this is what they know because that is their normal. And part of the problem when you start creating normal, social norms within your own demographic, this is the stuff that you see. If you see that mama going to work every day and her man laid up on the couch, she may tell you, baby, don't you let no man lay up on you.
Now that's true.
But all you know is that this is what men do. So you don't have a reference point when it comes to the other thing. Right. I would also venture to guess that then if you did see the other thing, guess what? You're going to turn it down. You're going to think something wrong with him because this is not what men do. Why are you offering me money? I ain't going to sleep with you, right. Now, or I don't need you to pay my bills. Right. So that's the thing is, those very things that your mama told you don't let a man do, you invite those things because you don't want a man who's going to do those other things. So I think all of those things play into the situation of this HoboSexual. But, you mentioned something because I've talked to, of course, my son, who's a millennial, about this whole concept. And he does not believe, now this is a millennial talking, he does not believe that a woman can be a HoboSexual. A millennial does not believe that a woman really can be a HoboSexual, and it's because of the things that you mentioned. Well, I mean, but that's what men do. Like that's what they're supposed to take care of things. They're not supposed to live off of a woman, and so you can't really apply that same term to a woman. But my conversation with him was, well, I feel like it's a double standard then, because like you mentioned, there are women that do the exact same thing. I'm with this guy because I need a place to stay. I need that. Yeah, I give him sex every now and then. That's my contribution. But I have those 3 basic needs. I have those 3 basic needs met. So I would like to hear from you though, Mario. What do you think about that when you hear someone, whether it's a millennial or someone else, who says that a woman really can't be a HoboSexual? What do you think about that?
I would say that has a lot to do with the environment a millennial has been raised in. I think that's a value system your son is speaking from. Not saying that it's not valid, but I'm saying that's almost how he was raised. He's speaking from an environmental situation and those values that have been put in him. I think that when we use the term gold digger, it's the same thing. You see what I mean? It's just a different term. That you're just looking, that you have no romantic interest in this dude, but he does have some money. And you'll do whatever you have to do to make sure that you get, even if you're not living with him, you get your rent paid, your hair done, your nails done, and so on and so forth. It's an age-old thing. But if we put different terms to it, we've been talking about the same thing. And you think about it now, the mother would also say to a man, you also now, because times have changed, since y'all want equality, guess what, son? She need to have a job too, because you all need 2 incomes so you can get some things done. And if she won't work, you don't need her. She's sorry, she's lazy, she won't clean up, she don't love you. Because she would, if she did, she'd go out there and help you all get something. That's almost a value thing to me. And so I understand where your son is coming from, because that's what I was raised believing, hearing, being taught, until I saw it differently. When I saw, as you talked about, the ruse, the deception of it happening, then I recognized that the female has gotten the pass, because culturally we've been taught that's what you're supposed to do, is take care of her. But see, now when we think about how deliberate the female is about that, and you have the men who are just as deliberate, you see, that's where I get with you on, let's not have a double standard. Let's not have a double standard, because you got women now who are earning way more than men anyway. And so, I get what your son is saying, though. I really do. But I also think that women have been doing it for quite some time. It's age old.
See, I get it. Like, I agree with you to a certain extent. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because I still believe that there's a different psychology when it comes to the HoboSexual, even as it relates to a gold digger relationship. Because typically with the gold digger relationship, it is abundantly clear that we in this, and this what you gonna do. Right? Like it is like it is clear that my expectation is that These are all the financial